I'm Pastor Joe from A.C.T.S that studies in Santa Monica, California. Thanks for joining us. Last week, we talked about forgiveness and the 7 blessings of forgiveness. As the series continues, this week we're going to be talking about how blame keeps us from forgiving. Today, we're opening our Holy Scriptures and taking a look at Luke chapter 15, verses 28 through 32. This is a very familiar story, the prodigal son, but we're not looking at the young son that ran off and spent all of his goods and his heritage. We're looking at the older son and how he manages the relationship between his brother that returns home and his father who welcomed him home. You know, sometimes we have difficulty with forgiveness because we're busy blaming someone, blaming them for the way we feel. But here's the real story with playing this blame game with ourselves. There's no way to forgive when you're caught up in blaming. Because what do you create? You create something that we call a grievance story. Now, here's the way it works. You create this very sad story about how it's all somebody else's fault. The way you feel, it's their fault. And as you begin to create this story, you store it away in your memory bank. But the problem is that you've created other stories that are very familiar, and you begin to feel the same way. So as you call these grievance stories up into your mind, you begin to respond to them by blaming someone. And when we blame someone, we cannot forgive them. The Apostle Paul says you can change your grievance story. Romans chapter 12. Paul makes it clear in the first couple of verses. The key is that he says to be not conformed to this world, but be transformed. And how does Paul say do that? By the renewing of your mind. I want to talk a great deal about that subject, the renewing of your mind, because when we renew, what the apostle means is to renovate. And just like anything else, when you're going to renovate a room, you take everything out of that room and you bring things in new. And that's what he's talking about. You've got to clear that mind. You've got to renovate it. You've got to take those old stories out of your mind and put new things in. Rewrite the script. So what we really want you to do is to pay careful attention to your mental health, your physical health, and certainly your spiritual health. And we've found out that through all kinds of studies in our research, we've discovered that forgiveness and unforgiveness affects us, body, soul, and spirit. And I think God wants us to pay attention to that. So thank you again for being a part of our worship experience. And I want to invite you, if you haven't joined us in the past, come and join us here in Santa Monica. We're at 1015 California Avenue, Santa Monica, California. Our services are every Sunday at 9 a.m. Or follow us on the web. We are at churchthatstudies.org, all one word. Like us on Facebook, would you? And make sure that you send this out to all of your friends. As a matter of fact, you can even hear us on a podcast. God bless you, and we're hoping to see you soon.